Carly said that Willow is worse than Nell. What are y'all thoughts? Do y'all agree? But hey, y'all, welcome back to another review of Life Chess for General Hospital, April 11, 2025. Okay, y'all. So first things first, let me know y'all thoughts on today's episode down below. So we're gonna start with Curtis and Portia. I think the only thing they was talking about was Drew. He was upset about Drew or whatever, and I think he was, if I'm not mistaken, their scene was about him talking about Kai. Something about Kai and Drew, you know, the surgery he's supposed to be having. Curtis even might as well get him out the way too. Curtis was talking to Kai about it and warning him that if Drew usually wants something, it's something in it for him. He over here talking about some he's been nothing but nice to me and stuff like that. And I was like, that's the point. If he was mean to you, wouldn't that show you who he was? But yeah, Carly, this what was interesting to me, because what she said, what Willow said, Alice Michael ain't here to do nothing about it. What did she basically said that, and I said, Willow, I'm shocked at you. I'm appalled. But yeah, Carly, Willow, Drew, Nina. So they still going back and forth. Carly confronted her. She cut off. But I think we was talking about Willow now. So Carly was telling her about moving in and moving Michael kids in and stuff like that. And Willow was just saying, you know, she's their mother. There's nothing she could do about it. And she was like, I'm in love with him or whatever. And she just talked about her love for him. And everybody just looked so shocked or whatever. Nina came out the bed because she was distracting Wiley and them or whatever. And she was trying to get everything to calm down. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it looked like Willow noticed that Nina was real quiet, first of all. And that she was on that phone. She was texting Jason to tell him to come there. I said, y'all playing out the door. Y'all playing this out the door, out the window, everything. But I said Nina was mighty quiet. She was very quiet. I think the thing that made her speak up or whatever, was when Carly brought up Nell. Carly brought up Nell. I think she was like, Willow reminds her of Nell, but then she said she worse than Nell. I was like, do y'all agree? Do y'all think she worse than Nell? Look, I wasn't expecting her to say that about Alice and Michael. I was like, ooh. I know sometimes when you're upset, you just say stuff. Sometimes you just say stuff. People be acting like you don't, but sometimes you can say stuff out of anger. But yeah, but then again, like, Drew been manipulating her so much, I don't know. But Carly's whole thing was she was trying to defend Michael. She was telling Willow, Michael not there to defend himself and his kids and stuff like that, so she gonna do it. And I was like, she got a point though, because Willow and Drew act like they can do whatever with the kids for real. Well, they can, because even when Michael was on the show, he's let them do whatever. How she sit up here trying to sneak out with your kids and you let her go? Make it make sense, Michael. And I don't even think, at that point, had he slept with Sasha? Did he sleep with Sasha at that time? Yeah, I was like, how? Carly came down for nothing. Trying to stop them. They trying to sneak out with your kids and you let her go with the kids. Make it make sense. Oh, I know what was happening now. Carly said, she was like, child. And she was like, what are you saying? She was like, Michael let you have Wiley or whatever. That's not your child. I was like, ooh, they got to be hurtful. They got to be hurtful. But at the same time, everybody been saying it. Everybody been saying it. I was like, Carly. But at the same time, they do be acting like, I was like, they don't consider Michael at all. But once again, he over here, you let these folks, they trying to sneak out with your doggone kids, or they was about to sneak out with your doggone kids or whatever, and you let them go. Then what else happened? It was something else that happened. He just let it happen. And I'm like, Michael, get a backbone. He was still trying to save the marriage. Or whatever. But yeah, they were just going back and forth, arguing and stuff. Then that stuff about Nell was brought up. That's when Nina started speaking up. Drew over here telling Carly to get out. What else happened? I think Willow started talking about Michael. That's when she said, Alice and Michael ain't here to do something. I thought she was going to slap her then. I was like, that's when you should have slapped her. She over here for you to say something like that. Then I think she mentioned Carly being a mama or something like that, and that's what made her about to slap her. But then Jason had showed up. Jason showed up and grabbed her hand or whatever. Willow gonna say something, I can't believe you was about to slap me. Girl, she done slapped plenty of people in her day. I can't believe you was gonna slap me. I'm the kid's grandmother. No, I'm the kid's mother. I said grandmother. I'm the kid's mother. Girl, what they gotta do anything? But yeah, I think the scene ended because Jason took Carly up out of there, and she ends up saying before he took her out of there, Carly told her she was gonna lose the kids, that she was gonna make sure that Michael got his kids. And I said, y'all need to say all this for when he come back. I don't even know when he come back. I was like, they don't recast him plenty of times temporarily or whatever. They should have did that. He should have been back so we get this show on the road. Look like Sasha doggone belly already out there. I was like, she just announced she was pregnant last week. Nah. She just announced she was pregnant. Now all of a sudden her belly, it looked like it. I don't know now. I don't know. It kind of did in that black. It kind of looked like her belly was out there when she was touching it or whatever. But yeah, Trina, Kai, Curtis. Wait, did I skip something? Like I said, they went outside. They was talking about I think Carla was saying something about she was trying to keep the peace and keep things, civil and everything. But since they want a war, that's what they gonna get. But on Monday's episode, she telling Brandon that she thinks she may have handed the kids on over to Drew and Willow. I said, you ain't do that because they already over there. They gone. Michael ain't there to fight or whatever. So, I think legally can't Willow be the only one unless something happened. I don't know how that worked, y'all. But yeah, Trina, Kai, Curtis. Trina and Kai was talking about the same thing. He was like, he decided that he gonna go through with the surgery. She over here trying to warn him against it because it may not work. It may work, it may not work. And about Drew. And he was like, I think he's still saying the same thing. Drew been nothing nice with me or stuff like that. What could he want from me? I'm just a college student and stuff. Really? I think I already talked about Kai and Curtis talking about it. He was trying to give him advice, but he still seemed like he gonna go through with it. Trina ended up showing up at the end of the episode to talk to Portia. I said, I wonder if she trying to get her to talk some sense into Kai. I said, don't do it. I said, if you ain't gonna tell Curtis the truth, then you better hush your mouth. Drew already itching to tell your secret. I said, even if she did everything that he wanted, at this point, Drew would definitely still tell. He would still tell. He would. And I said, Portia and Nina, like, they doing everything except telling the truth. She gonna end up telling Brad. I done skipped ahead. She gonna end up telling Brad to get all of Drew files, everything. And I was like, what's she gonna find in no files? What do y'all think she gonna find? But yeah, who we got next? Sasha and Jason. I think she was saying how she ready to move out, and he ends up, I don't know if he actually convinced her to stay or not. I said, get up out of there. I said, get up out of there. Y'all secret gonna get exposed at this point. I said, get up out of there. But then that's when he got a text from Nina saying 911 come to Drew's. It's Carly. I know I didn't write down Danny's name. Before Jason left, he showed up and he was saying I think he wanted her help with making what's her name? They sister Scout. Making Scout some type of dessert or whatever. I said, what's her real name? Is it Scout? Is her first name Scout? Didn't they name her Emily as well? Is her first name Scout? I've been trying to figure out what her name is. Is it Scout? Yeah, that's her first name or middle name or nickname. I don't know. But yeah, he was making something for Scout. I did read a spoiler that said something about Sasha spend time with Jason's son. So I'm assuming that's what they was talking about because I ain't seen nothing else for next week though. What else? Anna and Emma, she ends up revealing that she got her file. Something about breaking and entering, trespassing, and assault. And I wrote down, I said, is Emma telling the truth about what happened? I was like, it kind of seemed like, I know that animal cruelty is a thing and stuff like that. But I feel like that wasn't all that happened. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts? Let me know down below. Then it's the Josh and Vaughn situation. Might as well combine it. Because I'm like, okay, I feel like it's more to the story. I don't know about this Professor Dalton. They saying that they already casted the guy or whatever. I don't know who's supposed to be playing him though. Rumor is that it's somebody from Young and Restless. I don't know if that's true or not though. But yeah, Anna was talking to Emma. She reveals what she knows, and she was just saying how she didn't mean to hit the guy with the crowbar and stuff like that. But I was like, I feel like it's more to the story. But Josh and Vaughn, he ends up saying he want her, like I said on yesterday, to join the environmental class or whatever. And she was like, is that why I was brought here and stuff like that? And I said, I don't even think he know why she was brought there. He probably don't know everything either. I said, I don't even think neither one of them really knows who Brennan is, but we'll see. That's all they was talking about. Brad and Portia. I think I already talked about them. She called him to the office because she wanted him to get all the Drew files way back when he first came to town and stuff like that. So I'm assuming it's going to be a storyline revolving around it or whatever. We don't know yet. We don't know. He agrees to do it. She kept threatening to have him fired and stuff. I think the last people is Alexis and Diane. I said the highlight of this episode for me was the Carly and Willow and Alexis and Diane. So Alexis went to Diane and said she need her to represent her. I already was assuming, because she can't tell her nothing unless she her lawyer or whatever. Because if she her lawyer, she can't tell nobody. But I'm still wondering even if they have Christina committed, can't they still charge her? Can't she go to jail? Can't she go get help and be arrested? I don't know how they work, y'all. But yeah, on today's episode with their scene, she ends up hiring her. So she tells what Christina did. But she don't tell that Ava knows. I don't even think she knows that Rick knows. But yeah, so she ends up telling her everything. So y'all know what she said? Diane said, let me see. I wrote it down. I know I did. Diane said Christina get herself in trouble and Alexis always cleans it up. I said exactly. And she's like, she brought up the weapon situation. And I said exactly. I said, I'm glad she brought that up. And at first, Alexis like, I don't want to do that. Girl, please. What you going to do, cover for her again? They got her on video. I mean, they don't got her actually cutting it. So I think in certain cases they can dismiss that, but I don't know. Cause remember when the whole falling out the window situation showed up? How later Brandon had Christina arrested, talking about she came there to murder Ava or whatever. So they could definitely twist it. They definitely could twist it or whatever. But yeah, she ends up telling Alexis that her best opportunity or whatever, her best way out of this mess is to have her committed. And once again, she was like, no, she don't want to do that. That's her daughter, yada yada yada. And she was like, the way you need to do this now. You need to do this now before it gets further out of hand or whatever, because the girl is crazy. That's what she said. That ain't what she said, but she is crazy. But that's what we talking on tomorrow's episode. Look, I'm waiting on them to show anytime they say somebody getting committed, I always imagine, y'all remember how back in the day they have some people in like all white or something like that show up and then grab these folks. Look, that's what I'm imagining, because she's supposed to be talking to Molly, and look like Alexis was right there too on Monday's episode. And I was like, yeah, have her committed, but I'm wondering if she still could be charged. So Alexis finally agrees to it. What did she say? Did she say that she could do it without her permission? I think she did say she could do it without her permission. But yeah, Christina, you finna go to the crazy house, but don't worry, you gonna go tomorrow? I said tomorrow. You gonna go next week, and you gonna be out the week after. She gonna go next week to the crazy house, and then she gonna be out the week after, y'all know with this soap timing. But yeah, that's it, that's all. Let me know your thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next time, this is How Girls Today. A great weekend and be safe.